Hi everyone, it's Sal. I hope you are all well and ready for the last tarot seminar for the year. Thank you so much for joining me. We've got so much exciting content to get through today. For those of you who haven't been I like to do these once a month in Tarot Mastery, and then I repost them on YouTube for those of you who are on YouTube. If you are watching the replay, that means you will be watching it on YouTube. Do hit subscribe to make sure that you don't miss when I do these. So that way you don't have to be in the Facebook group all the time looking for that. If you're joining me live right now, if you could just pop your name in the chat box, I'd love to say hello. I'm just going to move that back a bit. There we go. Just pop in and say hello and where you're from. And I'm going to get stuck into our very final Tarot Mastery of the year. Hello, Francine. I've got some wonderful news to share with you guys of a great opportunity to work more and get some more help with your tarot readings and your psychic readings with Francine. So I'm going to talk about that at the end of this. But what I want to help you guys with today is I'm going to be talking about how to give better career readings and how to understand career readings better, like to go more deeper and make a deeper connection with the cards. I'm also going to be talking about how you can identify what it means if a court card, hello Mercedes, if a court card shows up in your health reading and what to do about that and how to manage that. I'm also going to be talking about the long debated and the much popular topic of timing, especially things like, so someone asked for this seminar, they wanted me to answer the question around, you know, how people are asking me, is it this week or next week or what month? So I'm going to talk about that. I'm also going to talk about looking at how to politely decline when people are asking you for freebies or discounts and how to set up a little bit more boundaries in your business and set up a bit more boundaries in your readings. And I'm also going to be talking about a great question I got this week, or might have been last week, about the Pentacles and the Wands, because people can often get confused about them because they both represent career. And so someone wanted to know, you know, what is the difference between a Pentacles and a Wands if they're both career? How do I explain the difference? So I'm going to talk about that as well. And I'm going to be talking about my Christmas hours and availability. And for those of you who don't know already, this group, the Facebook groups and my other one, How to Be Psychic and Psychic Healing Hub, are all going to be archived from the 19th of December to the 9th of January. That just means they'll be hidden and you won't be able to temporarily find them, but not forever, just until the 9th of January. And that's to give me and the team just a rest over the break. My sister's coming from Vancouver. She's arriving tomorrow. She hasn't been back in Australia for 5 years. So we're very excited. So I wanted to make sure I get to spend some time with her and just to give the rest of the team a break too, as Kathy will also be away and other team members. So I wanted to make sure everyone gets a good rest. And then next year, I've got some really exciting news and new opportunities for Tarot Mastery for you guys, those of you who are in the group as well. There's some new changes that I'm going to make that are hopefully going to benefit the group. So those of you who don't know how these usually work, what I like to do is go through the topics. If you have a question along the way, please do post it and I will come and answer it towards the end. Okay, so first I'm going to get started by actually just giving a huge shout out and thank you to everyone who has taken the time to post a review this month on Udemy. It really makes not only my heart filled with just joy and gratitude when people take the time to acknowledge the courses and how they've helped them. But it also obviously helps me be able to continue to make more courses for you as well. So thank you so much to everyone, including Zaynep Oren, Kelly Buckle, Sarah Sutton, Jamie Chavador and Laura Janua, and everyone else who took the time to post a review on any of my courses this month. Thank you. And in the previous months, I really appreciate it. So let's get started. I'm going to talk about the career readings question I got today, which the last few days, that was really quite interesting. And it was for someone who is in Tarot Card Success. So there's someone who hasn't done my How to Give Career Readings and Life Purpose Readings course yet, because that's what I teach in that course, like more the higher level career questions. If you're getting a bit stuck on questions like, should I leave my job? And this person asked on the Q&A board, they said, How do I know if it's a positive or a negative, or if it's a yes or a no? If I do a 3-card spread and I get like the 5 of cups or the 5 of wands, which is obviously a negative card, and then I get, you know, the ace of wands and I get the sun, which is obviously positive cards. What is the answer to this? So first of all, let me just start by saying that when it comes to career readings, and you can probably take a moment to reflect on your own job career history with this, it's very rare that you are going to get 3 ding, 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 or 7 ding, ding, ding if you're doing a 7-card spread to say that the new job you are going to is going to be perfect from day one, because that is rarely the experience. So those of you, as I said, who have done my career reading course on Udemy know I talk about how, like, when I did the should I leave my job and quit my job working as the manager in a crystal and tarot reader shop and move over to Manly and then start becoming a healer, when I made that, like, asked that question, I got things like the Fool, I got the 6 of Swords, but I also got a couple of negative things. And the reason, like even the 3 of Swords was thrown in there. Now, and the reason why is because when you are starting any new business or you are doing any new job, there's always going to be challenges. Like, it's very rare that there's not. So for me, I look at, again, your job as a tarot reader is not to basically tell people's fortune and say, yes, this is the only job that will ever make you happy, or 100% yes, you have to leave this job or the wrath of the tarot will strike you down. It's to show them what the journey's going to be. So in the case that was spoken about before, so where they had the first part, I think it was the 5 of Wands or the 5 of Cups, and then the Sun, and then, you know, the Ace of Wands, like, there might be a period of real instability and real grief or real loss, or feeling like you've been, I think it was the 5 of Wands, so being torn apart. And that's normal in a new job. Like, you don't know where you fit in, you know, you don't know, you're feeling stressed, maybe everyone's judging you. Like, that's actually a very normal reaction. And it is important as a tarot reader to teach your clients that a negative card doesn't mean the world is ending. The negative card means, hey, you're being presented with the opportunity to learn something. Maybe it'll be a bit rough, but this is how it can get better, and this is what you can do to make it better. And that's really important to remember. So in the case of the 5 of Wands, you could say, hey, you might feel like you're getting pulled apart a lot in the beginning. Don't overcommit to too many things. Maybe if you're going to try and prove yourself, you know, like that kind of thing, don't overcommit too much. Don't try to please too many people. And that's a way of overcoming that card. And like for me, for example, like when I started with my tarot career and my clairvoyant healing career, like I was literally, like it was not all sunny cards, because I was literally working out of my lounge room at some stages of that, sitting on camping chairs and working 6 different jobs as an English teacher and doing all sorts of other things behind the scenes to try to build up the income so that I could build up regular clients. And again, so if I'd gotten just negative, if I'd said, well, there's a negative card in there, I'm not doing it, then I would have, A, missed out on my life experiences, but B, just a normal part of actually sometimes starting something new or leaving an old job can actually involve a little bit of pain. And just to be okay with that, not to feel like, oh, that's got a negative card, it's a no. So I hope that's helped for those of you who are struggling when someone asks you a should I question. As I've always said, the should I is not as good as what do I need to know about? Like, how will the journey unfold? What will my path look like if I take this path? That's a much better question, because then you can share and break down the cards for your clients. And then you get deeper connections with the cards. You get more insight into what's going on. And most of the time, yes, people will get a bit funny if they know there's a bit of hardship ahead, but you give them back their free will. So their free will to make their own decision about whether this is the best thing for them, not coming to you and saying, please rescue me, should I do this or not? Because you're saying, well, this is what might happen if you do this, and then they're fully prepared. They've got all that information, and there's no negative blowback on you later down the track if they come back and say, hey, I came and saw you and you said to leave the job and it was the worst thing I've ever done in my life. Because I had this 5 of Wands experience, you know, they start telling you they felt pulled apart and had to impress everyone. So if you just explain the cards to people and you link them together and let them know their blind spots where you can help them to basically just to reset something and to make it a better experience, then that's a good reading. Like, yes, everyone wants to be told fairy tales. when they go to a tarot reader, but sometimes they actually just need the truth. And that's, for me, what being a good tarot reader is all about. So I hope that's helped those of you who are like, I'm not sure if it's a yes or a no, or I'm not sure how to do that. I was also going to talk about multiple choice questions as well. I am going to be releasing my new course. It was meant to be in November, and I had some technical stuff, and now Christmas has gotten in the way. But I'm going to be releasing, hopefully late January, early February, my new course on multiple choice readings and going much deeper with them. I'm very excited about it because I do get asked a lot of questions about multiple choice, and I thought I really would like to do a whole course on it because there's so much more information than just what I can fit into tarot card success as a basic beginner level. But I will give you all one rule of thumb that I would like you to take away over the break if you're practicing multiple choice readings, and that is, please don't bet your whole entire life on something that will dramatically impact and influence your life on one card. Because one card will never summarize that up for you. Like, I always talk about my job as a school teacher. Like, I had the hugest tower breakdown, shocking moments of my life that led into some depression at some stages, but it was also the best experience of my life, and I made some of the best friends of my life and built up the skills so that I'm here talking to you today. And so if I'd just gotten the tower and gone, oh, well, no, that's it, then I wouldn't have had those life experiences, as I mentioned before with the career reading. Like, sometimes we need to look at a bigger picture than just our whole life betting on one card. Now, I will say this though, if you're only wanting to do like a summer job, say for example, you've got someone who's 21 and they're at college and they just want to take a summer job, then yeah, one card's fine. But if you're looking at a lifelong changing career, then please do at least a 3-card spread to see what the journey will be like, and then show them the different options with that. So I hope that's helped those of you who get people coming in wanting a one, multiple choice, and you're like, I don't know what to do. And, like, it's a scary responsibility if someone's going to quit their job because of one card that you pulled for them. So yeah, try to give a bigger reading, try to get more insight as well, and share that journey with them. So thank you, Kish. You just mentioned it was very helpful. So what I would also like to sort of segue into now is the age-old question of timing. This comes up nearly every time, and I've tried to go a few months without doing it because I don't want to just keep repeating it. But timing, someone asked recently, they said, what happens, I'm getting a lot of clients that are coming and wanting to know, is this going to happen for me this week or next week? Now, first of all, can I just say, if you're paying a tarot reader to see if something's going to happen for this week or next week, then as far as I'm concerned, you're kind of wasting your money. I mean, because a week is 7 days. If you wait 7 days, you'll know if it's going to happen this week or next week. And, invest your money in a better tarot reading. What is going to happen in my job or my career or my, my life purpose or my love life or my health, or, they're better questions than this week or next week, because time will come and then you'll know that answer. So I would also just like to reiterate, as I've said many times before, and it does surprise people, but tarot reading traditionally is not set up to be fortune telling. It's set up to show you the patterns and trends of your life and the lessons you're going to learn. Now, if you think back to the early lectures in Tarot Card Success, and some of you who have been here for a very long time will probably be laughing, that might have been a long time ago for you, I talk about how the minor arcana are things that you can change. You change that by your free will. And that is why timing's not such a great thing with the tarot, because your free will come in. Whereas the major arcana are your lessons that are set in stone that will be presented to you. And so so if you get a major arcana card, say for example you get a death card around your job, am I going to get like what do I need to know? Let's say a question about, say your marriage. Okay. Is something about, when will I get married? For example, you say you're in a relationship and, when will John and I get married? And you ask that question and you get the death card. The death card would symbol in a time way that there might be something that has to die first, or maybe this isn't the right person for you, basically. So then the answer might then be never, or it might be something's going to have to seriously change and you're going to have to grow up on some other level because this relationship has sort of reached the end of what's good for you, that kind of thing. So on that level, you've got that timing. But say you got something like the Four of Wands, which is a great marriage card. I talk about this a lot in the love readings and how to give psychic love readings course on Udemy, the more advanced love readings course from this course. And if say you got that around love, like the Four of Wands, and you got it, you know, in the next few months or the next 12 months, and that would suggest, yes, there's going to be either an engagement party or something to celebrate, there's a moving in or a deeper commitment. So with the timing thing, try to see it as the tarot gives you it. And the tarot gives you it with the Celtic cross and with the horseshoe. It gives you it by saying past, present, next few months, up to the next 12 to 14 months. That's your timing. Now, when you want to get more specific, and I find the people that probably get the most challenged by this, not a generalization, but just because Vedic astrology is so often associated in India with the tarot, is my Indian friends and my Indian students, because a lot more people seem to come to them and demand exactly, you know, precise timing with the tarot, because astrology will often say, you know, like when you're 42, this is going to happen. And when, you know, but tarot isn't astrology. They are two completely different divination tools. They're totally different. And when you've got a lot of clients coming to you, pressuring you for exact time, again, use the Celtic cross. Use those ones, and okay, in the next few months this is coming, but keep in mind free will is the most important thing, and it's not stronger, it is stronger. Your client's free will is much stronger than the divination propensity of those cards, because they can turn around and go, gosh, that tarot reader told me that I'm going to marry John, you know, in 3 months' time, but he's being awful to me, and I don't really want to be in this relationship anymore. But she said, I'm getting married to him. What does this mean? You know, so free will is your, you know, the reason why tarot really shouldn't be used to specify exact months. Now, those of you who are like, but I'm still getting asked this a lot, I do have a course, the how to give career and life purpose readings courses, that I have my whole section on how I manage timing and what I do with my intuitive gifts. And how I do it with month by month. If you want to do month by month, like for me, it's more of an intuitive thing, and then I might get a card to back that up. So I do recommend if you want to do more specific timing, but generally it's not really meant for that. And I can tell you the very simple reason, because say I pull out April, what April? April in 3 years, April next year, April in 2 years, like, you know, so that's why the specific timing thing gets a bit cloudy with the tarot. Try to think of the tarot as a tool that will help your clients develop their own resilience and heal what they need to heal, but also to see what's going to happen and how they can get around the negative stuff. So the major, to reiterate that, yes, you can see the timing of a major arcana event because it'll show up in your cards. Say, for example, I can give another example. Say you're like, when will I get a new job? And then you do a horseshoe spread, and then you get, you know, a card like the Ace of Pentacles. That would suggest, yes, a new opportunity in your career will be showing up sometime in between now and the next 3 months. Could be 4 months, doesn't have to be specific, but that's how it works. So yes, an opportunity is coming along. So that is how you can use the timing. Now, what do you do? People obviously will come back to me after I've been telling this for years, and they say, yes, but Sal, my clients keep insisting. First of all, as I've often said in my higher courses, timing often is very intuitive. It's very like, for me, I get a really strong, oh my God, like April, or I get like a seasonal thing, like it's going to be in summer. That's how my gifts work. Because the cards have so many different interpretations, you can really trip yourself up by relying on a card to represent, you know, like a season. Especially because a season can be different if you're in the Northern Hemisphere or the Southern Hemisphere. There are certain cards, obviously astrological, like the Emperor, that represent April. So you could get that card and say April, but again, which April? So be a little bit cautious with this. Do treat timing with respect. And I say that because everyone wants to know when things are going to happen, but you know, as I often laugh and say, I remember once a psychic told me I was going to get married between the age of 28 and 32. And part of me was very happy when I got told that when I was 19. I wasn't ready to get married then. But as I was getting closer to those things, I'm thinking, well, where is he? Where is he? And then I reached 32 and I hadn't met anyone. And oh my goodness, the depression, because I was like, I'm not getting married. He said I was getting married then. I'm not getting married. I ended up getting married when I was 36. And so again, like, it's important not to, like, to teach your clients that you want to help them heal. You want to help them be the best version of themselves. You want to help them get better love lives. Timing doesn't help that. If that person had told me back then that I wasn't going to get married till I was 36, 37, I probably would have really been frightened, because especially when I was 19, like 37 was a much later date to be getting married. It wasn't really that normal back then. It's much more normal now. So keep that in mind as well. So I hope that's helped, guys. And for those of you who have heard me say that 30 million times, I do apologise. It's just the question gets asked a lot. So yeah, to reiterate, use the timing systems that you have in your Tarot Card Success course. They are the ones I most frequently use, and I very rarely have an unhappy customer. And when they want timing from me, I might go through and tune in with my intuition, and I might pull an additional card. Again, you know, will I get a job next month? I pull a 6 of Wands, victory. Okay, yeah, that's looking good. So that's one way to do it as well. But do caution your clients that their free will can override your reading, okay? And that way you're not sort of getting caught up in that responsibility to predict an exact date. And as if I've mentioned before for people, there's no date, like there's no 31st of August 2023 in the tarot. Go through them if you don't believe me. Go through all the cards and see if you can find it. There is no card that says that. So I hope that's helped, my loves. Now, I was talking a bit about the Pentacles then and the Wands. So someone recently asked, when they do a reading and they get a Pentacles and a Wands card come out, and they get really stuck on the career thing, because they're like, well, that's the career thing, because they're both career cards. But I'd like you to explore the aspect of a career reading that features a Wands card versus a Pentacles card. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the difference between, say, the 6 of Wands and the 6 of Pentacles when I talk about this. So both will suggest that there is some kind of, you know, that there's something good, stability and progress and something going on in your career. They're both, if you ask about, you know, if you're asking and you get those cards, it suggests that probably in your career you're going to be moving forward on some level. However, the difference between the fire energy and the earth energy, so the fire energy being the energy of the Wands and the earth energy being the Pentacles, is fire is about forward movement. So in terms of career, or even say the Ace of Wands versus the Ace of Pentacles, usually it will suggest that a Wands card is career in terms of promotion, leadership, changing, forward movement, you know, going up higher, going up the ranks, whereas the Pentacles suggests more of money, I guess, and you know, the actual financial side of your career. So again, sometimes these two cross over very naturally. Obviously, if you're going to get a promotion, you are going to get more money a lot of the time. But you might just be that, you know, if you're getting a 6 of Wands, it could be, yes, you're going to be in a more of a higher leadership position. And if you have to choose between the two, and people often ask this, how do I choose? Choose the one that you most want. Do you want regular, reliable? So because the 6 of Pentacles is more like what you give, you get back, you probably wouldn't be as likely to get a promotion with the 6 of Pentacles. Whereas with the 6 of Wands, you're probably heading up the ladder much quickly. So I hope that makes sense, that little differentiation. One's more about money, one's more about your career opportunities, your forward movement, your fire energy, your passion. So it's they're just two different aspects of career. So I hope that helps, my loves. I'm going to pause to answer a question. Mercedes just said, I had a woman coming to see me because another reader told her to leave her relationship. Yes, I agree. Never tell a client what to do. Yeah, unless there's domestic violence involved, in which case, obviously, you should be talking to that person about counselling as well. Yeah, it's not your job to tell people to leave things. It's really not. You've got to sort of be a little bit responsible in your role, because people put a lot of faith and trust in tarot readers the way they do with priests. And so you need to be really, really considerate and caring about what it is you're sharing with them. Put it back in their box and say, okay, this is what the journey is going to look like. If I were you, maybe I would do this, but go and think about this. You know, make them responsible for their own lives. That's really important. And some of you might be afraid you'll scare clients off like that, but that's okay. You don't want the clients that are coming to you and telling you that on the 3rd of June you're getting married, and that's all they want you for, because that's, as I said, because they could change their mind and decide they don't want to get married. So you then become wrong. So keep that in mind. So, health cards and the court cards. So someone recently asked, what happens if I get a court card in a health reading? Now, I need to start off, and again, apology for those of you who have heard this. I don't teach health readings in Tarot Card Success because it's my opinion that health readings are best done once you have a confident understanding of all of the cards. And that's for the simple reason, because when you are talking about health readings, you're talking about people's lives, you're talking about families, you're talking about the potential influence of damaging someone's health, which could be a very, very destructive thing. And out of all of the readings you can give, it's probably the most dangerous if you don't know what you are doing. So if you are a complete beginner, I would not be giving health readings right now, even if people ask you for them. Politely say, look, I'm a beginner, I'm not really comfortable, and I'm not a doctor. You're not an x-ray machine. You legally are not really allowed to do it. It's a very bad ethical and legal area. However, I do have a course on Udemy about health readings and how to give health readings in an honourable and ethical way. So I do recommend doing that if you're thinking of doing them. When you're looking at the courts and you're looking at health readings, so in that course I talk about which cards represent what health condition. So it could be a health condition depending on what the court is. But it could also be, if it's a king or queen, it could be a person. So it could be like a surgeon or someone who's impacting upon that. If it's something like the Knight of Swords, I would say something like, I feel like your health issue is around the fact that you're rushing around too much, like you're being you're being too manic and you're not being grounded enough. So the courts can also represent, if you think about the literal interpretation of them, it can represent that's where the stress is coming from. So say maybe with a Knight of Pentacles, it may be the work, you're doing too much work or something like that. So they can, as I said, I go into this in the course. I really do recommend it if you want to do health readings, but it would depend on what the court is, because the courts obviously all have different readings. Obviously in a pregnancy reading, the page will most often likely represent a child, as that's the most likely one. But they can mean different things depending on what the court is, and whether, as I said, it could be someone who's going to help you, a practitioner. Like if you've got something like a Queen or a King of Cups, then it could mean some alternative therapy, like rather as opposed to a King of Swords, who might be more like a doctor, because that's the academic side. So that's one way you can look at it. But again, it would depend on what the court is. And again, I just add, please make sure you do further study, if not my course, someone else's, before you do health readings, if you're not confident with all the cards. So I hope that's helped everyone with health. Now, this is a great question and I love it. And I can just say I've heard one of the best answers I've ever heard in the group answer this question, and I'm stealing it. Tabitha Meadows, I am stealing your answer to this question because it was fabulous. Someone recently asked, how do I politely decline people who constantly ask me for discounts? So first of all, please don't be offended by this, especially if you live in one of those countries where discounts is a common thing, like in India or in Bali, or one of those countries where it's normal for discounts and bargaining to be part of the culture. Tarot readers will get this a lot, and it is up to you to set your boundaries. I believe Francine gave that really wonderful advice today. She said about setting boundaries. Every business goes through this, not just tarot readers, about the pressure to give discounts. And Tabitha said this really fabulous thing, which as I thought was one of the best answers I've ever heard. I appreciate you asking. That's a great way of saying. However, careful consideration has already gone into the value of my services and they have been priced accordingly. Now, I love that. So that's your way of saying, no, I know what my services are worth. Like they've already been priced that way. And look, there were some other wonderful suggestions saying, hey, I'm already giving a discount. Or actually, one thing I say is that I often say, unfortunately, I don't offer discounts because it's actually not fair on the people who have already paid me the full price. So that's, people often will ask me for, not often, but occasionally will ask me for a discount for my advanced tarot program and psychic business program, which I don't discount. It's not like Udemy because it involves me doing sessions with you and business coaching and the Zoom exam for certification. And because of that, I don't discount it. But when people ask, I say, it's actually not really fair on the people who have already paid full price for me to give discounts. And I do apologise. I also like having an alternative. So I often say, look, I do have, my Udemy courses are discounted, or say you offer like half hour and 45 minutes and 1 hour readings, you could say, hey, but my 30-minute readings are only this amount. If you are currently experiencing budget difficulties, then I offer a lower cost item, but it's not a good idea to get into the habit of discounting, because I often find that there is a percentage of people who appreciate discounts, don't get me wrong, but I also find that there are people who will still be just as the way they are about the reading, whether they got it for a discount or not. And so it's up to you to just be like, okay, I need to hold this space, and I need to remember as a reader, how many of these can I realistically do in a week and pay my bills and have time with my family? Like I've just told you, I'm about to take time off with my family. Like that, these are important things that sustain us and keep us going. And we don't want to be in such mental distress that we can't afford to pay our bills because we've just done a favour to 10 people and given them a discount. That's no way to run a business, and you're running a business, so you've got to be kind of strong with that. Now, freebies are the same. I have a little automated text that when people send to my Sal Jade Clairvoyant Healer business page about getting a free reading, it just says, hi, thank you for contacting me. Here's my webpage with all my prices for my readings. Thank you. I'm not doing readings at the moment, so I actually just say I'm not doing readings at the moment, and I send them to my recommended readers page on my Sal Jade website from my graduates from the Advanced Tarot program. But when I was doing readings, I said, hey, these are the prices. You can book in whenever you like. And that's it. I don't even address, I don't defend. It's almost like I haven't even seen that they've asked for a free reading. I've just assumed they've asked for a paid one, because, you know, that's how you've got to run your business. It's not always comfortable at times, but every business goes through this, trust me. I'm connected to a lot of online entrepreneurs in all different, from marketing to graphic design to working with addictions to so many different things. And we all get this, and it's just up to you to say no. Now, I will say this, if you are getting lots and lots of people are asking you for discounts, it might be time to do a little bit of self-worth work. I have some courses on Udemy that can help with that. I also did a wonderful course with Miriam Castilla, who is a wealth coach on Udemy, called Manifesting Abundance for Healers and Psychics, about how to shift those blocks a little bit and how to have those uncomfortable conversations and how to recognize your value and how to actually add up what your readings are worth and get comfortable telling people that. So yeah, that might help as well. But yeah, for now, that's a wonderful suggestion of Tabitha's that I loved, and all the other suggestions that were in the group as well, just politely just say, and you know, and I often also am quite practical. I'll be like, sorry, but my landlord doesn't give me discounts, and you know, my subscriptions that I pay every month for in my business doesn't give me discounts. These are the prices, you know, that kind of thing. So boundaries is great, but if you're getting it a lot, you might need to work on your self-worth as well, like setting yourself up as the cheap, free or discounted reader. Now, it can get trickier with friends. We didn't talk about that in the group today, but look, again, with friends, you could maybe give one, and then it leads to a lot of problems though. But then after that, just go, look, you just say again, just go, look, I'm not in a position to do this. And what I always say, and this will put a friend in their spot, I'll be like, but hey, if you want, I can give you a reading. If you're struggling a bit with money, instead of a discount or instead of a free reading, why don't you babysit my kids this weekend? Or why don't you do something like, what's their job? What do they do in their job? Get them to do something that they do in their job for you for free. And that just kind of brings home that, wait a minute, my friend is working. They're not just an ATM that gives out free stuff. Like, they're working. And so put it back on them kindly without defense, and, you know, I call it bitter-free boundaries, just being like, well, you know, what maybe we can come to an arrangement, you know, like, what is it that you do that could help me out maybe? Do you want to do some of my social media management? Do you want to do something else, you know, like in my business? Or as I said, do you want to, you know, think about something that they could do that maybe they do professionally or they do very well that they could do for you. And that way you're getting that thing, they will back off asking, or they'll be very happy to do that, but they won't be treating you like a free reading vehicle anymore. I hope that's helped. Okay, so I hope that has helped everyone. I'm going to just talk quickly about my Christmas hours. As I said, the group will be archived from the 19th. I'm saying the 19th. It's technically the 20th, but because we're all on these weird different time zones, just consider it the 19th. It'll be archived from the 19th of December to the 9th of January. And that just means that you won't be able to request to join any other groups or come in and access it. I will open it up again on the 9th of January with the really spectacular, wonderful new news of some new bonuses and new different things I'm going to be adding into the group next year, which I'm very excited about. My hours on Udemy are basically I'm away for that whole period, but I will be on Udemy one day, and that will be the 28th in the US. It'll be the 29th if you are in Australia or you are in India. So on that one day, I will be on the Udemy board, and I will be answering questions for you on that Udemy board. So please, if you have a question for me, you're doing your course over the Christmas break, pop your question there and I'll answer it on that day. It's going to be like my one day that I set aside for it. And then after that, I'll be back on about the 7th or the 8th or the 9th, basically. Those of you who are in my Advanced Tarot and Psychic Business program, you can just reach out to me via my emails because I'm not going to be answering regular emails. So the team email will be off because Kathy's off. But if you're in my Advanced Tarot program and the Elevated program, then please reach out to me on the discussion board through your group because on that day I'll answer your questions. Or please reach out to me in the email that you've got connected with your course. So I hope that's helped. So I'm going to take questions in a minute. Before I do, I'm very, very honoured and just totally privileged to thank the very wonderful Francine Bellau for her incredible job that she has done this year in our group as the moderator. She has just been amazingly extraordinary, and to be quite honest, without her, I don't know how I could have kept the group going. As many of you know, I had a lot of surgeries earlier in the year, and it was going to be really difficult for me to just keep in and make sure people weren't posting incorrectly. And Francine has just been an amazing asset to this group. And I just want to, with all my heart, want to thank her for how hard she has worked to help people in this group to answer questions. It's not an easy job to delete people's posts because they don't read the guidelines properly. It's a really thankless job, and she has done it with a lot of grace, and I'm just so grateful to her for that. And any of you who are running a group will know that it's a really hard thing to do to just delete someone's post because they haven't read it properly. They haven't read what, or they've just posted incorrectly deliberately. So she has been amazing. Now in my other group, How to Be Psychic, and in this group, there is something called a psychic chat feature that Facebook has added, where you can actually go in and have some more intimate chats and get some, more one-on-one help and even as the group, get a bit more intimate. So take it off the big thing. Unfortunately, I can't do this in Tarot Card Success and in How to Be Psychic because it's connected to my Udemy courses. And that might seem strange and complicated, but I had an incident this year where someone had a disagreement with someone in the group and then went onto my Udemy courses and just basically wrote awful reviews about all of them, even though they'd always written nice reviews. And I lost my bestseller status, which I'd learnt, it took me years to get that. And so I thought, okay, I can't do more intimate things with people and I can't do more one-on-one because if there's a problem and people have a conflict with each other, it'll blow back on my business and my courses. But Francine has this amazing group where she's really happy to open up this, this thing that's like it's more of an intimate group. And if you're having problems and want more one-on-one help, she's able to do that for you. So I'm going to tell you the name of her group now. It's the Psychic Connections for the Soul. I've got Francine here to answer any questions for you if you've got any questions, or you can message her as well, or just go into Psychic Connections for the Soul on Facebook and just ask to join. And as I said, if you're looking for some more help, more beyond what I can offer in this group because of the connection to the Udemy course, April says Francine is amazing. I know, she is. Thank you, Francine. She has been amazing. And I'm so excited to be able to promote her group and know that if people want to do, like say you've got something you're having more trouble with and you want more that personalised help, she can help you with that in that group. She's amazing. She runs her own business. She does her own, she's got huge experience on psychic chat lines is. She's been doing that for a while. She knows a lot about that arena. That's not my arena. But yeah, things that you're struggling with that you want a bit more one-on-one help with, she's definitely in that group. And so I highly recommend going and looking at that. It's called the Psychic Connections for the Soul. I will put the web address, if you're on YouTube, it'll be in the description. And I'll also pop it in these comments on this thing. So if you're looking for some more help, that's a really great way to get it. As I said, there's only a limited amount I can do because I have to follow Udemy's rules. I can't have people, and the other reason is some years ago, like 5 years ago now, someone in one of my groups decided just to set up their own group and went off on their own without asking me, and then everyone got into fights. And I had to go in and fix it. And the thing was, I wasn't even in that. You know, they'd kind of done it. I know that's not going to definitely happen in Francine's group, but it made me realise that I actually can't have people starting up their own separate little things here that's connected to this group, because it can blow back on me with Udemy as well, and Udemy can kind of get cranky with me. So again, Francine is available in her beautiful group. She's still obviously going to be available here. She's not going anywhere. She's just finishing up her time as the moderator. And again, thank you. She's going to be changing things after the 1st. Oh, okay, perfect. We'll let people know. As I said, assuming the 1st of January, New Year's Eve. I'll let people know and pop in here. And then next year, when we start next year off on the 9th of January, I might even give Francine an interview and just talk a bit more about that group for those of you who want to go in and find out more about it. So, actually, Francine, can I get you just to do just type out for me a little bit of what the group's about, and then I can just read it out for people if they're intrigued now, and just pop the link in here if you've got it as well. While you're doing that, Caroline has asked, what do we do when the last future card is very negative and we keep pulling additional negative cards over and over again? So this is great question, hun. For me, it's actually okay, and it's actually one of the best ways that I get timing. Getting back to that timing question, for me, getting more negative cards just indicates that it's going to take them longer to get what they want. Okay, so that's not a bad thing. You may feel bad because you're like, oh no, but remember that most tarot readings in a Celtic cross or a horseshoe are only really meant to be up to about 12 to 14 months. Maybe you could push it to 18 months. So if, for example, the final card's the Three of Swords and they get the Death and then they get the Tower and then they get something else and then finally they get the Sun, that just means they're going to have all of those lessons to navigate before they get what they want, or before life is going to improve for them. Now, it can be hard to tell people that, but it's also very normal. Like for me going through depression, that didn't get cured in 12 months. That took me learning a lot of the lessons of the Tower and of Death, and learning the lessons of the Four of Cups as my impatient Aries self. Like learning those lessons, and then all you do with that, Caroline, and for everyone else who's ever had that experience, you pull the next card, it's a negative, you go, okay, so you are going to need to, and whatever the lesson of the card is, share them, pull another one, and then just basically put the whole story together. Say, if you do this, you can get there quicker. So that's what I mean by the free will. If, say for example, you get 3 negative cards and then you get the Sun, if they manage to do all those lessons in each of those cards, they'll get there quicker. So it's up to them. So you can say, look, it might take a while. You are going to need to navigate Death, or you're going to need to navigate the Four of Cups. You're going to need to navigate, don't say the Four of Cups or Death because I won't know what it means, but reiterate to them what the lesson is that they need to know and learn and heal and transform. And the quicker they do it, the quicker they'll get to that Sun. So that's how I deal with that. As I said, it's quite an interesting way to do timing too, because it's actually, to me, not a negative thing. It's a way that says this might take you longer than it seems. Now, and I will say again from my health readings course, the most common time this will happen will be in a health reading, because if you've got a chronic health condition, then it's very rarely going to be fixed in 12 months. So like if you've got something really badly wrong with you, then it might be you have a few negative things to get through before it gets better. So it's not a negative at all. It's just, you just need to keep pulling them until you get the positive, pull back, look at how those cards all connect together, and then draw that out. And look at how those cards connect to the current reading too. Like what are the similarities, and say if you can speed this up, but you will need to learn this first. And if you manage to do that, then it will come quicker. Okay, so I hope that's helped, Caroline. Francine, so her group is for anyone who wants a safe place to be with like-minded people, no matter where you are on your journey. I'll be having psychic games and other fun things. That sounds awesome. I do not advertise the group because I want people who want to be there, not people just looking for free readings. Okay, yeah, that's a great. I love that concept. You know, I'm not a big fan of the free reading stuff. So yeah, so that's it's for people who want to be opening up. No matter where they are on their journey and to feel a bit safe. And she doesn't advertise it because she wants people to be there who are not just looking for free readings. And I understand that. I mean, that's probably, as she knows as the moderator, probably the hardest thing about her job and my job in this group has been dealing with people that are just using other people for free readings and just, you know, praying that those people would just kind of go somewhere else because that's not what the group's for. It's to learn and improve your studies. So yeah, so she plans on starting small groups and doing live Zooms. That's fantastic. Perfect. So that again is if you want to pop that link in here, Francine, it's the Psychic Connections for the Soul. If you do it once I finish, that's not a problem too. So I would like to again thank everyone for a wonderful year. I released my new Udemy course this year, which was the How to Read Tarot When You Struggle to Remember the Cards. Thank you to everyone who got involved with giving reviews to that and purchased it and to made it the highest rating course on Udemy at one time. Thank you. And I did that webinar recently about how to grow your online tarot business. So it's been a kind of big year, a fantastic year. We're nearly at 10,000 people in this group, which is just so beautiful. And thank you to everyone who has participated and who has shared and helped others with the interpretations of their readings. Francine says she doesn't have it, she'll post later, no worries. And yeah, thank you, everyone. And I hope you all have a wonderfully safe and happy new year and you get some beautiful time with your families and that you get to practice some tarot over this time. As I said, the group won't be available, but we will be back in action on the 9th of January with lots and lots of new bonuses and fun and different changes. And again, I'd like to thank you all so much for showing up. And again, if you're on YouTube, if you'd like to see all my past seminars like this, I've got like tons and tons going back 3 years. You can actually go and find all my ones. And if you're like, I don't want to watch through every one, just click on the description. It'll tell you what topics I covered as well. Have a great holiday. Thank you too, Caroline. Thank you so much. And thank you again, everyone who came along today. Bye.